Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron TMHD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, I'm your host, TMHD, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. This week we watched The American Society of Magical Negroes, starring Justice Smith. This film I thought was very fun, funny, and overall I had a great time while watching it. And it was just really entertaining the whole way through. But before I go on a tangent about how much I like this film, I'll tell you why I like this film and more back at the house.
What's the most dangerous animal on the planet?
Shark.
White people, when they feel uncomfortable. White people feeling uncomfortable precedes a lot of bad stuff for us. That's why we fight white discomfort every day. Because the happier they are, the safer we are.
Welcome to the American Society of Magical Negroes.
The name needs a little updating, maybe like magical black people, or I guess that doesn't have the same ring.
Hey guys, welcome back to Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, TMHD, and this week we watched The American Society of Magical Negroes. Does not roll off the tongue very well. But this film is starring Justice Smith and David Alan Grier, written, directed, and produced by Kobe Libby in his directorial debut. God, that was a lot of shit to remember. But this film is a comedy with a bit of social commentary in there, a bit of fantasy elements, a bit of romantic elements in there too, but mainly a comedy. And I will say I did enjoy this film. While that is not the common consensus, I do think that this film was enjoyable. I got a couple laughs here and there. Obviously, being his debut, it, of course, had some rough around the edges things here and there. Obviously, the film wasn't perfect, but I think I enjoyed it, and I think it was fun. I didn't take it too seriously, you know, I just kind of wanted to just sit down and just have fun, and I really didn't have too many problems with it. Then again, I'm a white guy, right, so I don't really know the problems. You know, I don't understand it, or I don't know what it's like, obviously. You know, I can't really relate to it. But I can, as an outsider looking in, try to observe it, and while I do think the social commentary is obviously, like, the whole part of the film, and some of it could be taken in different regards, I will say that mainly I watched this film for the fun, like, you know, funny parts, and I do think my favorite bit was probably maybe the romance bits. I think those parts were fun. Well, actually, no, probably the funny bits were my favorite parts, but the romantic bits were also up there. It was pretty good stuff. They didn't overstay their welcome. They weren't, like, overbearing on the film. It wasn't, like, a rom-com or anything. It was, like, a comedy with, you know, romantic elements, and I do think that that's good. And overall, I do think that I like Justice Smith, too. I think he did pretty good with what he was given. I do like Justice Smith. He's in quite a bit of things, actually, when I realize how many things he's in. You know, it's kind of weird. When you notice him, he's in a lot of stuff, man. But yeah, I think he did pretty well. I also like David Alan Grier. I haven't seen many films from him. I probably should, but I think he also did pretty good. Also, the other characters did well. And overall, I do think that this film was fun. Yeah, I don't think the film was meant to be taken very seriously. I don't think you should take it too seriously. Obviously, there is, like, as I said before, like, social commentary, satire stuff. But obviously, I don't think it's, like, not, and you know what I mean? It's, like, not too serious. Like, obviously, you're just supposed to have fun with it. You're supposed to laugh at it. And it's not really, like, meant to be legitimate. Like, this is legitimately what it's like, at least to me. Because I don't think you're supposed to take it too seriously, and I think that you're just supposed to enjoy it, have fun, and just laugh at it, which I think is what I did as an outsider looking in, obviously. And yeah, overall, besides the film's faults, I think besides the rough around the edges parts of it, obviously being his directorial debut, obviously this film was not going to be perfect. I think some obviously technical things could have been done better. I mean, obviously being his debut, nothing was going to be perfect. But obviously, aside from that, I enjoyed it. I found it fun, I found it funny, I found it enjoyable, and overall, I just had a good time watching it. And I think that is all I want in a movie, you know? I just want to have a good time, you know, want to enjoy, want to get a couple laughs here and there, you know, want to have a guffaw, you know what I mean? That is what I see in a movie, and overall, I had a good time. back onto the social commentary stuff. Now, walking out of this film, I was not really, like, enlightened on any new things. It just personally did not hit for me. Not saying that nobody can go in and get that out of it, but personally, I just don't really think it told me anything new or anything I didn't know, right? Like, obviously, it kind of touched on things that I've already known about, or stuff that, like, was just kind of common sense to me, or just, like, common sense to understand the situation in itself. I do think that I didn't get much out of, like, the commentary. Not, again, saying you probably, like, if you can, then good for you, but personally, I didn't. And again, with the social commentary, I do personally think that sometimes it could be a little on the nose. You know, it could be a little, like, maybe you roll your eyes a little bit a couple times. I do think sometimes it can be not overbearing, but again, on the nose. Like, it's kind of whatever. And again, you maybe can get something out of it, but personally, not me. I think the movie, personally, if it intended to send a message, I don't think it really hit me. If it intended to do so. If it didn't, and he was just looking to make a fun movie, I think it succeeded at that. But if it was trying to do something more, to me, I don't really think it connected. Again, maybe I could watch some interviews, maybe I could see the director's intent, the creator's intent of this film. I don't exactly know his intent, but if his intent was to send a kind of message about, like, I already knew these things, and I was already aware of these things, I don't really think he enlightened me on anything new, on any new information, on any, like, he didn't open my eyes, or, like, open up a gate, or, like, I don't know what that even means. What kind of figure of speech is that? I don't know. You guys get what I mean. He didn't really, like, open my eyes, right? Which I think is a shame if that was his intent, because I feel like he could have done something more with that. Maybe could have touched on some other topics, maybe some better topics with the satire, with the comedy in there. Again, if that was his intention. So I think there could have been a missed opportunity where they could have pushed it a little farther. Not saying that they needed the whole film to be like a huge rally or anything like that, or maybe just like had moments where it like felt powerful, you know, where there were like, because you know in comedies there's always that one scene where it's like the really serious scene. Maybe they could have had a couple scenes like that that actually like put forth a message and like actually made it impactful, or made like had something that stuck with the audience after the film, you know. Not saying we need any like massive giant like changes, but I think something that could be like impactful and powerful that would like stick with the audience. I think that could have been done well, and I think there was a bit of a missed opportunity there. Maybe they could even included like the magical aspect, the fantastical aspect could have added into that. I don't know, just gotten a little more creative with it, gotten a little more like punchier with it, shall we say. Now, stepping away from that for a short bit, I do think that the other things in the film, I already touched on the romantic bits, the story, I do think that another missed opportunity is, I think, maybe this is just because maybe this is just me, but I think that the whole, like, magical Negroes secret society thing, I think I really would have liked them to flesh it out a bit more. You know, maybe not, like, I don't know, maybe make it long, maybe a little bit longer or something. Obviously, the film was very fast-paced, but I still think they could have added a bit more. Maybe there could have been, like a Hogwarts-type place or something. Or maybe they could have shown, like, a building that they went to that's, like, a secret building somewhere. Like, I don't know, like, shown a bit more lore to, like, what, like, maybe who was, like, the first person to start the society, what was the history of it, what was the origins. I think that would have been pretty interesting, because I always kind of like in fantastical stories, like, to hear the lore. I mean, that's some of the best parts of stories like this, is, like, the deep lore and the, you know, going back and looking at the history. But they didn't really do that here. I mean, they touched on it, but they didn't really, like, get in depth with it, and I really think they could have expanded that thing and really maybe gotten me more engrossed into the you know, lore and into the setting, the premise of the movie. I think it really could have gotten me more into it, but unfortunately they just kind of base level. And another thing is the dialogue. Now, I think the dialogue is, again, very, like, just like the comedy can be hit or miss. I do think there are some scenes that I like. I like the awkwardness of some of it. That might be a problem with some people, but I think the awkwardness of it kind of feels a little realistic, to the point where, like, when people are first meeting, obviously there's going to be long pauses. they'll be like stuttering, they won't know what to say because they just met this person, right? Like you don't know who they are, they don't know who you are, so it's just kind of awkward when you're trying to have a conversation when you don't really know what your interests are, you know? But again, there is some dialogue that I think is a bit of a miss for me. There's some dialogue that's a little stilted, could be better. I think some of the performances were a little lackluster, but that's whatever, it's fine. And overall, I do think I liked the dialogue for the most part. So, would I recommend this film? So, I think it's a little hard. So, I think this is a film that maybe I would recommend if you're okay with, you know, if you... It's hard. But I think overall I would recommend it if you just want to watch it, have a good time. But if you're not a fan of, like, the whole commentary bit, if you're not a whole fan of that, maybe steer away from it because it is, like, a prominent part of the film. And if you just kind of want to watch a comedy without too much commentary, maybe this isn't for you. But overall, I think I would recommend it if you just want, like, a good, fantastical comedy with some romantic elements in there. Overall, I would recommend it for that part. And I think overall I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It was pretty good. I liked it. And, yeah. I think that's something to say. I think it's my piece. So, guys, hope you like this video. Share, friends, subscribe, notifications on. Comment down below how much you liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I haven't even said what I really meant to say. If you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike, how much hate me in the comments. And I've been Runtime HD, off to join a secret society. The only thing scarier than this review is sharks and uncomfortable white people. Just wanted to let you guys know that. You know, negro is how you're supposed to say it, because it's in Spanish. But some people say, like, negro, that's not how you say it. It's negro, you know. I took, like, a Spanish 2 class last year in high school. So, I failed it, but at least I know that part. I also know a few swear words, but that's pretty much it. Here's your Spanish lesson with Runtime HD.